ready?
The Merc with the Mouth is now the Merc with the Mouse in Deadpool and Wolverine. So before I talk about what I think of this third film, I should talk about what I thought about the previous two Deadpool movies. I do enjoy them. I think they're very funny. I think they're well written. I think they're good action. I don't love them though. And I found out rewatching them again that part of what made them so much fun when you first see them in the theater is kind of the novelty of it. So I hugely respect these movies for doing stuff that we hadn't really seen up to that point. We've seen movies that certainly break the fourth wall and do it great, but Deadpool was very good at not only doing it with comic book movies, but also combining it with a serious action story, like getting you involved enough that you also wanted to see what was going to happen in the action sequences. You're still rooting for the main character, you're still concerned about what's going to happen to him, even though he can't die, but the connections he makes and what he goes through, all that good stuff. So I do respect that, but I will admit this type of humor has kind of been on the internet for a while, and it's cool seeing it on the big screen. It's cool seeing millions and millions of dollars thrown at this type of humor, but after you get over that, the novelty does wear off a little bit. So with the first film, I definitely really liked that we were doing something kind of new, at least on the big screen. With the second one, I really felt like they had to push the envelope a little bit more, and it was just a little bit of the same with that, like they did one or two things different, but really not much. So with the third film, Deadpool and Wolverine, I was really hoping they were going to add a little bit more to it. And they kind of do. It's the same type of humor, it's the same type of action, but it's all still done very, very well. In terms of evolving or adding anything new, I can say they do add some things that are new, but it doesn't really evolve. And I don't think that's going to be a problem for anyone. It wasn't really a problem for me, as long as they did add things that were not only different, but were things that we did want to see as both Deadpool fans or X-Men fans, especially if you're an X-Men fan. There's a lot of scenes in this where just my lizard brain couldn't help but adore what was on screen, and some of the people that pop up in this. I mean, probably goes without saying, there's going to be a lot of cameos in this. Just seeing Hugh Jackman in that outfit is very, very cool.
Oh, whiskey with the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40.
Hey, mostly that's not true. And even what they do with some of the humor, I won't give away how this film opens up, but it's very, very clever at both being a troll move, but not necessarily hurting what's been done in the past with Logan and just the Wolverine character in general. The opening manages to be both respectful and disrespectful at the same time. It actually does manage to have its cake and eat it too, and that's very difficult to do in this setup, and I think they did a pretty good job with it. With that said, this is definitely a film that relies solely on its comedy, its action, and its fan service. And it's good at all three. If you're looking for anything else, which I kind of doubt you are, you're gonna get very, very little of it here. The plot is easily the most flimsy out of all the movies. I mean, I had to keep reminding myself who they were even fighting half the time. The cameos in it are very much like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That is to say, I really like them. I had a lot of fun with them, but I will admit there are some that are really great to see and feel like I've waited years to see moments like this. And then others are kind of random, but I didn't mind because they were so cool. And I think if anyone is looking for something that's going to have a sense of evolving the characters or evolving the story, or even to some extent evolving the world, you're not going to get much of that. But you are going to get an extension of what this franchise is. You can take it's Deadpool, of course you can take it that way.
I am soaking wet right now.
So was I when they revealed a certain cameo at that point. I won't ruin what it is, but I think it was the funniest moment in the movie for me. And I feel like they have just the right amount of fun with it. Now on that note, I think there's two major things that bizarrely don't work in this movie. One is, it is too long. And that's really weird because I went to a 3 o'clock show, and when I left, it was 5 o'clock. And I don't know how that's possible because this film felt a lot longer than that. I think that maybe does indicate there's some pacing problems with it, or again, trying to keep focus on what the main threat is, or what the purpose of the movie is, or what it's trying to accomplish. I mean, I guess you're having a good time, but you don't care a great deal. You care just enough because you like these people and you like these action sequences and you like these jokes, but I didn't really give a about who was gonna make it out or how they were gonna solve the problem.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Ah, yes, the first third act they have, there's like 5 in this movie. The number 2 biggest problem with the movie, he weirdly is not funny when he doesn't have the mask on. Now, in the previous films, I know you're looking forward to him being in the costume and doing the cool action, breaking the fourth wall, doing all that stuff, but you could still get through it okay when he didn't have the mask on. Like, it's not anyone's favorite stuff, but, you know, you care for Ryan Reynolds' character. You care for what he's going through. You're on his side just enough. And with this one, whenever he takes the mask off, heck, even when he's in the costume, he just takes the mask off. For some reason, it just goes really lame MCU movie, like the kind that has maybe too much exposition and is kind of getting a little too drunk on its own importance. Now, to be fair, there's a few moments they try to build up like they're going to just say, wow, Marvel is great, and that's it, just kind of, you know, salute it, whatever. But a lot of these moments do come back later. But I still feel like not all of them come back later, so it still kind of feels like a lot of fan service to itself. But on top of that, they don't work these moments in that feel like they're very organic. It feels like it's just kind of advertising the previous Marvel movies. And I feel like if this was Deadpool at its best writing, they would work with it in a funny way, in a way that you still go, man, that's still the Deadpool that we all love. That's a joke that we love, and it doesn't feel like it's just glorifying the MCU. Most of the movie, he's fighting to save his friends, to save his world. He talks about they matter so much to him and they left so little an impact on me. I didn't know until about the halfway point that him and the girlfriend were split up. I completely missed that. Like, that's how boring the scenes where he doesn't have the mask on are. And it's very strange. It gets more quippy like the usual Marvel movies, but not very funny quippy, just very unwelcomed quips that aren't generating that many laughs. A lot of scenes where he doesn't have the mask on, you can tell people are supposed to laugh. People did not laugh at my crowd.
Cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
What about Bolivian marching powder?
They know all the slang terms. They have a list.
Even snowboarding?
When she has the better lines than Deadpool in those moments, something's off. But thankfully, like the other movies, he's in the costume and the mask the majority of the time. I want to say like 85% of the movie, he is in this costume. All the actors that are brought in to play these parts are really having a good time, and they're chewing the scenery, but they're also bringing their A game when it comes to the drama. Hugh Jackman actually has some very good moments in this. Like, not a ton. I mean, again, this is a role he can practically play in his sleep now, but there are a few moments where you can tell he's giving more than, like, he probably has to. There's a scene in a car where him and Deadpool are having an argument, and he's just bringing his A game. Like, he is just quivering, he's like shaking, he is like, you know, he almost has like tears in his eyes and stuff. I mean, he is just not sleepwalking through this. I know other moments in other X-Men movies where maybe they're reshoots, maybe, I don't know, but you compare this performance to, say, X-Men Origins, you can tell there's just not the same passion involved, so it is nice to see that definitely come back here.
I told you, you're not welcome here.
But Bryan Singer can't drink anywhere. It is an easy movie to pick out things that don't quite work about. Like I said, there wasn't a ton of investment in terms of what was going to happen. There are several jokes that don't work, and sometimes the pacing, like I said, can be a little off. I think just the novelty of seeing Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds teaming up with him, both getting along and not getting along, having these other cameos and these other characters come in to sometimes get another chance at something that maybe didn't always end on the best note, is pretty fun and pretty cool. I think it's a movie that just wants to have a good time, be cool, have some awesome fight sequences, some good jokes, and I think it succeeds on that level. So I'm giving it 3 out of 4. No, seriously, why was Thor crying? Nothing great, but I had a good time with it. With that said, what do you think? Do you think this is the best of the Deadpool movies? Is this what you've always been waiting for? The team up of a lifetime, and it came through all the way, it went 1,010%, it gave you everything you always wanted? Or do you feel like this just completely missed the mark? Do you feel like it was only fan service and it didn't work and it wasn't funny and it felt like it really should go in directions that hasn't gone before and it was just lazy? Or do you feel like me, you just had a good time with the jokes and the action and overall you left the film smiling? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next time. Take care.